Hello everyone, welcome to GSS Core. This is Ajesh, and today in the series of pathways, today we have Chirag Jain with us, and Chirag is already an IFS officer by qualification. He is BTech from IIT Kanpur, and before this UPSC has qualified IFS, and this year he has qualified UPSC with All India rank 215. He is with us to share all his strategy, the success story, his failures, his mistakes, everything with us. And today the emphasis, the stress of this session will be on mathematics as an optional, which is quite popular nowadays. So Chirag, welcome to GSS Core, and first of all, many congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Chirag, just we would like to know your journey from IIT to IFS to UPSC, please.
I graduated from IIT Kanpur in 2015, and since then I had been preparing for civil services. I gave my first attempt in 2016, wherein I cleared the preliminary examination but could not clear the mains. And second attempt in 2017, I cleared the mains but could not clear the interview stage. And in the third attempt, I got in 2018. In third attempt, I got 355 rank in the civil services, and I was allocated Indian Railway Traffic Service. Simultaneously, I also got 10th rank in the Indian Forest Service examination, and I preferred Indian Forest Service, and I got MP cadre. So 2019 attempt was my fourth attempt, and I got 215 rank. And I expect either Indian Police Service or Indian Revenue Service.
Okay, so Chirag, you have qualified so many examinations. You have cracked IIT, then you have cracked this UPSC, IFS, and UPSC civil services also, and that too twice. So what was your experience? Do you feel that this examination, civil services, is little different from the other examination? What's your experience in this?
There are multiple things. First, this exam requires enormous amount of patience. It may not be necessary that one may clear it in the first attempt or the second attempt. So we have to show perseverance over the years, and there's a chance that with multiple attempts we may ultimately clear this exam. And second, there is certain amount of subjectivity associated with this examination. No matter how much you prepare, how could you write the examination? One cannot say for surety that what will be the result. So this second is the subjective nature of this examination, and in that way, it is different from other examinations, particularly the entrance examination for IIT.
Okay, fine. So Chirag, you have almost excelled in everything, right? From IIT, IFS, everything. So what is your source of motivation that has kept you so much consistent in the excellency of the track record of academics?
First, the motivation is to be a part of policy domain of our country. In the civil services, particularly IAS, we get the opportunity to implement the policies of the government at the ground level in the initial stages of our career, and later we can be a part of policy formulation. So motivation for being a part of policy domain in our country was my primary attraction. Second, my family members, particularly my parents and my wife, gave me a lot of motivation. They provided immense amount of support during tough times. Plus, there are certain teachers who guided me at every step. So these are some of the motivations behind civil services.
Okay, fine. Chirag, what are the factors that we should keep in our mind before selecting our option, and what was your strategy to decide the option subject?
There are multiple things that we need to keep in mind regarding the choice of optionals. The most important being is that the ability to sustain that optional for a longer time, at least for 1 year, you have to sustain that optional. And that comes when you have interest in the subject. And there are other secondary factors as well. For example, the availability of material, how much scoring is the optional subject. And for science options such as mathematics, physics, the objectivity factor. If you have done well in those options, so you are bound to get good marks in those. So these are some of the considerations that we should keep in mind regarding the choice of options.
So, Chirag, there is a tendency among aspirants that they go for the optional like political science, sociology, and all humanities option, right? So, and there is a myth that options like mathematics or options like engineering, they are not very much scoring, and there is no spillover effect over the other GS papers. Like the maths will not be useful in the GS paper, essay paper, and other things. So, what is your advice on this?
There are two things that you have said. One, the overlap with the GS, and second, the scoring nature. On the scoring nature, I would slightly differ. Mathematics is very scoring. At the same time, yes, it goes like binary. There are certain people who score very well. Rest of the people do not perform that much well. And second, regarding the overlap with the GS, yes, it is true. Mathematics doesn't offer any overlap with the GS, unlike the subject or humanity subjects such as sociology, political science, and international relations, history, geography, and so on. So yes, GS overlap is not there. But if we work hard, if we have time, then options such as mathematics, physics, science options can be very scoring.
Okay, okay. Chirag, can you just explain us briefly about mathematics option so that anyone who has to decide this option, he can understand the subject?
Just a minute. Can you take a break for 2 minutes? Just a minute.
Yeah. Can you just explain in briefly about this mathematics optional so that anyone can understand, that someone who has to decide the optional?
Mm-hmm. Mathematics optional, I see it as this way we establish a heavy industry. It has a long gestation period. It involves a lot of efforts. A long time period is required for its preparation. At the same time, once we have mastered it, it fetches immense amount of returns. So that is a broad overview of mathematics optional. It has a vast amount of syllabus. Around 13 topics are there, and uh, unlike earlier years where people could master some topics and develop average understanding in the others, this is not the trend anymore. Now, to get good marks, we have to cover all the topics comprehensively. I would divide the optional mathematics optional syllabus broadly into two categories. One, the topics related to conventional mathematics, and second, topics related to physics. For conventional mathematics topics, we have to master it definitely, uh, in such a manner that even if someone wakes us from the sleep, we should be able to do the question. Regarding the topics from physics, there are topics like dynamics, statics, fluid dynamics, rigid dynamics. For those topics, we should prepare a set of questions from the standard books from the previous year question papers, and try to master those set of questions. In the exam, if the question comes from that set, we should attempt it. Otherwise, we should not waste time on that. So this is my broad overview of mathematics option.
Okay. Chirag, can you just list out some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages of taking mathematics as an optional subject in UPSC?
First, advantages. It is highly rewarding if hard work is done. Second, it is objective in nature, so one can be sure of good marks if he or she has attempted well in the paper. Regarding disadvantages, yes, syllabus is very long. It requires immense amount of effort, and third, it has no overlap with the general studies. So these are some of the disadvantages as well.
Okay. And how much minimum time is required to cover this option if someone starts right from the scratch?
It depends on the pace of the person. In general, it takes about 10 months to 1 year.
And Chirag, who is the right candidate to start for this optional subject? Any candidate, someone who is from arts background, can he start with this option, or there has to be some kind of prerequisite, some kind of background for that?
I would say certain amount of basic understanding of mathematics is required. One should be comfortable with mathematical concepts. He should be comfortable in solving equations. Basically, he should have mathematical aptitude. Uh, so this is a prerequisite for mathematics optional.
Okay, okay, fine. I have seen that, Chirag, the people who take mathematics as an optional, they are basically from engineering background only. So what is the role of connection of that engineering with this matter? Is there any connection?
Certainly, there is. In engineering courses, the undergraduate students, they study certain courses of mathematics. So by the time they are at the stage of preparation, they have already done certain courses. Plus, engineering also directly or indirectly involves mathematical concepts. So engineers have certain basic understanding of mathematics that helps them in the preparation of mathematics as an option for civil services.
Okay, fine. Chirag, can you just tell me one thing that we have also interviewed rank 87 this year, oh, sorry, rank 97, and he is from also from IT and he is also from this mathematics. So, does this optional mathematics helps us in cracking IFS also and IS also simultaneously? Will it be helpful?
Certainly, certainly. Uh, Indian Forest Service, we have two optional subject, and if one of the optional subject is the one which overlaps with the civil services, such as mathematics and physics, so it certainly provides an edge. And in IFS, there is relatively less competition compared to civil services because only certain people with science backgrounds, with engineering backgrounds, are eligible to apply. So in that way, IFS definitely mathematics provides a certain advantage in Indian Forest Service examination as well. For example, for me, it was definitely an advantage. In 2000, I gave two attempts of IFS. In 2017 exam, I scored 270 marks out of 400, which was highest in the country. Still, because of certain reasons, I could not make into the final list. In my second attempt also, I got second highest marks, which was 267 out of 400. So definitely, mathematics as an option provides certain advantage in the IFS examination.
Okay, okay. Chirag, whenever we start any kind of optional, we decide to choose an option, then the very first thing that comes to our mind is that the option should be popular. So that popular books are available, popular test series are available, popular teachers are available. So, and this is a deterrence factor in choosing any kind of subject from the science. So what's your advice on this? Was it a deterrent factor for you?
Uh, Availability of material is certainly a consideration while choosing the optional. At the same time, I would also say that for mathematics, this is not a problem. Mathematics, material, and guidance is quite easily available in the market.
Chirag, tell me one thing. If someone is in college and he decides that he has to start his mathematics option from the college itself, then are there some basic books? Can you suggest some books which he can start studying in the college itself to complete this option?
Yes, there are books for every topic, and there are standard books that are prescribed by the toppers in the previous batches. And one can refer to those books. Plus, one should carefully see the syllabus and the previous year questions to gauge the frequency of the questions being asked in the examination. And based on that understanding, one should attempt questions in the books and should prioritize the concepts in the books.
Okay, fine. Is there something like usefulness of any toppers copy in this mathematics option like we have this in other optional?
There is a certain way of writing answers in mathematics in mathematical questions. So one can refer to either toppers and copies of previous years, or the standard books also have that pattern of writing. So one can refer either to the standard textbooks or to the previous year toppers copies
Okay.
to get a correct understanding of how
Okay.
to write the answers.
Okay, okay. Chirag, can you just in very brief manner, can you explain your strategy of attempting the paper when you got the paper in UPSC? How did you go for attempting the paper? Time management, the sequence of solving, how to write, how to be in the limit and all. Can you just throw some light?
I suppose that this is the question with regard to mathematics only. Yeah. So in every optional, we have to attempt 5 questions. Section 1, Section 2, first and fifth question are compulsory that we have to do. My general strategy was that in paper 1, section 1, I should have 2 questions out of the questions that are optional. So 2 questions in section 1 and 1 question from section 2. This was in both the papers because of my comfort with the topics in the section 1 of both the papers. So this was my strategy of attempting the questions. Plus, for every question, one should try to devote not more than 35 minutes, because this is how the time division is there. In 35 minutes, one should be able to attempt one complete question.
Okay, fine. Is there any strategy of like, for example, for other options, we have a strategy like to solve test series, to enroll some test series. So is that applicable for this mathematics option?
Yes, I would say not just test series, but what is important is the constant practice, because mathematics is done in such a manner that you cannot just read the question and learn it. To get comfortable, so as to be able to solve the question in exam environment, we have to practice it many times, so that in the actual examination we should not be spending the time in thinking of the solution. Rather, solution should be in our mind already, and we should just be reproducing it based on our practice. So for practice purpose, test series is one component. Test series plays a part in enhancing the practice. At the same time, one should also refer to the questions, the solved examples from the books as well, and try to solve them multiple times.
Okay. Chirag, so the last question to you. I'm making a claim. For example, we have subjects like political science, sociology. In all the subjects, we have to mug up lot of facts, data, and we all go for preparation of notes so that we can revise that before the examination. So by choosing maths as an optional, can someone be free from this kind of burden, like making lot of bulky notes, making notes for revisions and all?
I would not say free from this kind of burden. The nature of mathematics optional is slightly different. So yes, it doesn't require that mugging up of so many facts. At the same time, certain formula have to be remembered. Plus, there are certain questions in every topic that require certain degree of manipulation. If you do not know that manipulation, it will be difficult to solve the question in the exam. So we have to mark certain questions in the books, and we have to revise that manipulation again and again, so as to get the hang of it.
Okay, Chirag, one last question. In all the other optional subject, previous year papers, they matter a lot. We get an idea of the important topics. So does it is applicable for mathematics also?
Certainly, it is. In general, in certain topics such as fluid dynamics, rigid dynamics, and static dynamics, questions are often repeated. And if we look at the question papers of the previous years, if we solve the questions in previous years, we will be comfortable in the actual examination. So yes, referring to previous year papers is very much essential.
Okay. Thank you, Chirag. Chirag, I would just like to have your last words for the students who are appearing in Prelims 2020 on 4th of October. What should be their strategy and what they should do from now to crack this Prelims for sure?
I suppose that people must finish their syllabus once. So now is the time for two things. First, revision, and second, test. One should pick up any good test series from market and should try to solve maximum test papers. This is done for two reasons. One, value addition through the solutions of the test, and second, to practice. To develop that kind of coordination which is required in the preliminary examination, eliminating the incorrect options and gauging what may be the correct option. So one is this practice, and second, revision of the concepts that have already been done once or twice.
Okay, Chirag, thank you very much for joining us, and from the entire team of GS Score, we wish you all the best and you get everything in future. All the best, Chirag. Thank you very much for giving us time.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.